Hi everyone, I'm Stu.
I'm Sarah, and welcome back to the 350 Bird Challenge.
In this video, we're going to do some capital birding. We're in Canada's capital of Ottawa. First time birding here. We'll tell you where we are specifically after this. Okay guys, welcome back. Sarah, what trail are we starting on this morning?
So we are going to do a few trails at Mare Blue Bog, and we are starting on Dewberry Trail.
Starting at the Dewberry Trail because it's open, we're here quite early. Some of the other trails don't open until 8 o'clock, but we'll take a quick walk around this short trail, see what birds are around. There's already a few here near the feeders in the parking lot.
We were able to get close looks at a number of feeder birds, starting with this downy woodpecker. Now, note in this shot how the red mark on the back of the head is uninterrupted. And then here's his larger cousin, the hairy woodpecker. You can see the red on the back of the head is interrupted by a black line which connects the black crown to the black of the nape, and this is another good field marking to differentiate these two species, especially from behind. We wandered along the trail through the snowy woods on this early morning. This is the furthest east in Ontario that we've birded since we began making these videos. Well, let's take a look where we are. Ottawa is in eastern Ontario, and the Dewberry Trail is southeast of the city. And then later in this video, we'll also visit Britannia Conservation Area, which is just across the border with Quebec, separated by the Ottawa River. But for now, let's get back to the woods. It was a little quiet this morning as we traipsed through the crunching, squeaking snow. Can you believe it? He's only just gone and dropped his snack. Not much else happening, but the sun was only just coming up, so let's go back to the feeders where the action is near the parking lot. A puffed up blue jay. And let's admire the soft blue eye makeup of this mourning dove. Otherwise, there were also black-capped chickadees, both species of nuthatch, tree sparrows, and some goldfinch. We moved on to another nearby trail.
Okay everyone, we've come to a new stop. Sarah, the name of this trail is?
The Mare Blue Bog Boardwalk.
It does appear as though at this time of year, most of the activity is probably going to be in the parking lot, but we're going to have a quick walk around the trail too. Nice, open, expansive marsh here. Might be better in the spring and the summer, but we'll take a look.
Fairly early on in the trail, we caught sight of this bird. As I've said before, the final footage that you see in these videos is often better quality than what we can see in the field, but we had a reasonably good idea what this bird might be.
Just behind us in a tree over on the marsh, not that you'd know it was a marsh with all this snow, but there's a falcon of some kind. We think it's a merlin. We're continuing along this trail. We're going to see if we can get closer looks at that merlin, if that's what it is.
We did manage to catch up with it later and confirmed merlin, a new bird, and we got closer looks at this small raptor.
Yep, nice. We've got ourselves a merlin perched over in the tree, alternating between doing a bit of preening and a bit of looking around for rodents underneath the snow.
The sun continued to rise, but it remained quiet, as you might expect at a marsh in winter. But we were joined by some black-capped chickadees from time to time, though not much else. So we decided to go back to the parking lot where most of the activity was. Similar species to the last trail, adding footage this time of American tree sparrows feeding in the snow, and a white-breasted nuthatch fussily picking through the seeds. Time for us to move on, right, Red?
Okay guys, as I thought, most of the birds are in the parking lot. Always helps when there's feeders around, but around the trail we did get that merlin, so that's another bird towards our 350. Sarah, we're going to move on somewhere else now, right?
Yeah, we're gonna head to Britannia Conservation Area, specifically Mud Lake.
See you soon, guys. We're going to make that drive now. Okay guys, we've arrived at Britannia Conservation Area. Some of the recent reports here, Sarah?
For our targets, there was a pileated woodpecker, red-bellied woodpecker, brown creeper, there's a wood duck, although I don't know where that would be at this time because the lake's pretty frozen, but and a barred owl.
Any of those would be pretty good. There's been heavy snowfall here over the last 24 to 48 hours, but today is quite a pleasant day. Despite all the snow that you can see in the background, it's quite warm. So I was hoping for quite an active day for the birds to be coming out of that storm, but it does seem fairly quiet. But we'll take a look around and see if we can add any of those species or anything else that shows up for us. Let's take a look.
Mud Lake is surrounded by woodland, so we were optimistic about some of those species we wanted to see. But one of the first things that happened is we were mobbed by turkeys.
Hello. I seem to be popular with the turkeys today. These guys are obviously well fed. Well, just before we got mobbed by turkeys, we were seeing signs of pileated woodpecker, right, Sarah?
Yeah, we were seeing some of those rectangular or oval holes that they make on all the trees, basically.
Although we haven't seen a pileated woodpecker, take a look at this. We did see a nice red-bellied woodpecker, new bird for the year.
We moved on from the turkeys and then came across another woodpecker. You can see the nice black spots on this northern flicker, and as it moves around, you can see the yellow feather shafts that they sport in the eastern side of North America.
There's me moaning about it being quiet here. We've just got really phenomenal looks at a pileated woodpecker. It let us get quite close because it's preoccupied with getting food. We can see it tapping away, removing the bark from the tree, and then we're close enough that we can see it stick its tongue out to grab whatever grubs or insects or larvae that it's feeding on from underneath the bark of this tree.
Moving on, we kept our eyes peeled for barred owls, which we still need for the year, but we mostly saw common species.
That's a big rock behind us, isn't it, Sarah? Do you want to tell me about that?
I'm not a geologist.
No, but you are a biologist, and it sounds almost the same.
The rock behind us is a glacial erratic. So basically, all of this part of the world was covered in ice thousands of years ago. And as that ice retreated, it sometimes left large rocks and boulders in places where you wouldn't normally expect to find them.
The ice and the rocks, as it kind of flowed down through the melting ice, carved a lot of the landscape around this part of the world about 15,000 years ago, roughly.
Towards the end of the trail, we came upon the large, rolling Ottawa River. There were no wood ducks here, and we didn't see any roosting in the trees either, just mallards and American black ducks. But there were some common goldeneye, way further upstream near to some ice.
Okay guys, we've got a couple of the woodpecker targets that we were looking for, although we didn't get the brown creeper, didn't get the barred owl, plenty of hiding spots for them, nice camouflage amongst the beige bare trees at this time of year. Wood duck unfortunately not, although there were a few ducks over by the Ottawa River. And what was the other one? Sharp-shinned hawk, one we've historically struggled with a little bit, usually a flyover that we catch on camera. So that's one to look out for the rest of the year. One thing that we have seen at some point during this video, can't say where it is exactly because it's a sensitive species, but it is one that we came specifically to Ottawa to find. Great grey owl. I'm going to cut to some footage of that while we go and get lunch because I think we've earned it. Back in a bit.
Following a lead, we entered some woods that weren't marked on any particular map, but we did see this well-trodden path. So we checked the trees for any fancy owls, soon spotting something perched fairly out in the open. If you watched last year's challenge, you'll know that this bird holds a pretty special place in our hearts. We saw it for the first time last year at Saxim Bog in December. That was a special moment, and this one is too. It's a really special find because this time it's in our home province of Ontario. The bird moved to a different perch, but since there were a few other photographers around, we got a few more moments of footage before leaving the bird in peace, but feeling pretty happy and honoured to have seen another great grey owl. For lunch, it had to be done. I was delighted to find a British bakery and shop where we picked up some pasties and Scotch eggs, plus some packaged items from back home. I used to love pickled onion Monster Munch, and Sarah enjoys quavers. A lot of the treats aren't quite the same as they were when I was a kid, but that's going back a while now. The sugar tax in the UK has made a lot of things smaller, or in the case of Apple Tango, they've added aspartame, which I don't really like the taste of, but the nostalgia was fun and we had a good time looking around. Is it time for a new stop? We're heading into Quebec.
Bonjour et bienvenue au Gatineau.
C'est notre première fois à faire de l'observation des oiseaux au Québec.
Où sommes-nous?
Nous sommes à la parc de Lac-Lémy.
A few rare species were recently seen in this park, but when we visited, it was really quiet and a few other birders said the same thing. There were plenty of deer around in the woods, including this younger looking one that followed us around for a while. And a few common species dotted around, but they were usually closer to the parking lot as usual.
Well, we've been here for about an hour now, walking around. Nothing much. Hairy woodpecker, black-capped chickadees, nuthatch, the usual stuff. We've run into a few other birders who said that they haven't seen some of the more sought-after species, but a couple of people have seen the barred owl. The trouble is they've tried to give us directions, but we're not familiar with this park, which is deceptively large. But we'll keep looking. We've got maybe another 45 minutes of light.
After getting directions from someone, we had a rough idea of where to go to find it, and we eventually caught up with it snoozing a little higher up in a tree. Another birder got a picture of this barred owl earlier in the day, and he seemed to think that this owl had some kind of eye injury. You can kinda see that in this clip in its left eye. We watched the owl for a while before it flew deeper into the woods. We had to go the same way to leave, so we got one last shot before leaving the owl in peace. Barred owls are a little bit more widely reported in this area than they are closer to where we live in the GTA, so on this occasion we haven't hidden the name of the location that we're visiting like we usually do. But as always, if you come across any sensitive wildlife, please treat it with respect and behave ethically.
Okay, well, as I often say, we were about to give up, but we continued down the trail and a couple of people told us, yes, keep going, the barred owl's down that way. We did eventually find it and it was quite nicely on show actually, so another new bird to end with ends this video on a high, but it's time for us to head to our hotel now, so that does us for this video. Thank you for watching. Please give us a like. The more people that like this video, the more chance new people will see it, and the more people that watch these videos, the more wonderful things we can do with the channel. Please leave us a comment. And also, Sarah,
If you haven't already, please subscribe. After subscribing, if you select the bell, you'll get a notification when a new video is posted.
we're going to tie this video up here, but we do have plans for tomorrow as well, which will be a separate video. We may be perhaps exploring Wolf Island or finding something else in that general area, so stay tuned to the channel and we'll be back soon. Thanks for watching, happy birding, and bye for now.
Bye!